Your Monday dose of what's going on in the world. How's it going out there? Anybody out there? Am I flying solo at the moment? Just flying solo. Hopefully somebody will show up here in just a moment, so I'm not talking to myself. It's probably a good sign of insanity if you keep talking to yourself. We shall see. Let's make sure we've got a connection here. It says we're online, but I'm not seeing anything. There we go. Yep, no, we're good. We're good. Okay. Yeah, first person has shown up. Excellent. Welcome back to the program. Anyway, so lots going on as always. Hello, Rainier Dutoy. How's it going there? So busy day. I did a video this morning talking about the Newsroom Africa. Actually ran a news story in which they talked about military students from South Africa being booted out of the United States, which is true. It's a consequence of the executive order that President Trump signed back in on February 7th. That's just, it was bound to happen. It's just a question of how long it took the bureaucracy to get around to sending letters out from the Defense Security Cooperation Agency. Now, I'm not saying they did it intentionally, but the way that it was presented by Newsroom Africa, it gave the impression that that this was a new action or belligerence from the United States, when in fact that's not the case. Yeah, so just for clarity's sake, this is a direct consequence of the executive order. Was bound to happen. Kind of like how the press in South Africa just keep discovering all the things that American taxpayers have been footing the bill for in South Africa. South Africans are paying for very little what's happening in South Africa. We're actually footing the bill for all of it. So we found out recently that 70% of all medical research being conducted in South Africa is being paid for by the U.S. taxpayer through USAID. All these South African politicians, like, we don't need America, we don't need America, screw you America, screw you America. And only to find out that we are footing the bill for everything in South Africa, for PEPFAR, HIV, tuberculosis, gender-based violence, trade, medical research, military training. The list goes on and on and on. But they still want to thumb their nose at the Americans and say, hey, we're just troublemakers. Well, you're the ones being the troublemakers. You're the ones making the insults. So a bit of irony today is ANC politicians now trying to backtrack, saying they want to have a constructive engagement with Solidarity and African Forum, and saying that they want a good relationship with the United States. These are hardly plausible or believable things, to say the least, folks. Right, so let me get to some of the news items that are out there. I'm tied up with my mother's health. I'm sorry about your mom's health. Are you still in the States? Army 3275. You haven't gone back to the Philippines yet, have you? So Jacob Zuma has lost his 8th appeal. The Constitutional Court unanimously rejected his nonsense from Jacob Zuma to get Billy Downer excluded from his prosecution. So can we finally now convict Jacob Zuma of his crimes? I don't know. Let's hold our breath on that one. We'll just turn blue. Justice Minister Kubaye has filed a case of fraud. This damn train is really getting annoying. Every 5 seconds it has to hit its horn. And how long is this train? Filed a case of fraud, obstruction of justice, impersonation, cybercrime, defamation, a whole bunch of stuff here. There was a Sunday World article that reported that 2 ministers were pressuring the National Prosecuting Authority to charge Deputy President Paul Mashatile with crimes. So she filed a police case in Brooklyn, in Pretoria. And she said it's about fake WhatsApp messages. People are sending fake WhatsApp messages. Now, isn't it interesting that when the justice minister's name is rubbished and she feels aggrieved, a case is filed immediately. But when South Africans are tortured, murdered, raped, robbed, plundered, looted, it takes forever to get anything. When ANC corrupt politicians are accused of crimes, here we are 15, 20 years later still trying to get justice. Yeah, no, it's Gideon Joubert. It's called shadow banning. They stop notifying my subscribers. They don't know about my broadcast. It happens all the time. So what you have to do is go to the channel periodically and make sure you're still subscribed. And sometimes it works to unsubscribe, refresh the page, subscribe, and hit the all notifications button. Sometimes it does a trick. It's a YouTube thing. I wonder if it's shadow banning or it's just, you know, poor system maintenance. I don't know. Yeah, we have trains, but this is freaking annoying. It's like it's been going on for like 10 minutes every few seconds. There it is again. You know, this guy must be getting off on the horn. I mean, that's ridiculous. Shouldn't be hearing it that many times. Oh, this is a heavy freight train area here in central Pennsylvania. Lots of traffic. Lots of goods pass through Pennsylvania. So the big news overnight, which the New York Times broke, obviously from people betraying the United States government and disclosing information they're not allowed to disclose to the press, disclosing information. The New York Times reported that there is something called Mission South Africa. This is the Trump administration's plan for refugee access for Afrikaners from South Africa. And they shared that with the world last night. I happened to catch it within a short time after it went live. Did a video on it, beat beat the newsrooms in Africa, South Africa, to the story by about 6 hours or more before they published a story on it. But the story is out now. So a number of things in that article that came to mind. I'd ask you to go watch my video on it. I prepared that video last night. It has over 44,000 views on it. Thank you for everyone's tuned in. It is a major breaking story about this program, talking about many of the things I suggested were going to happen. For instance, the team that came over was out finding ad hoc commercial facilities for refugee centers, which is what I said, to process people, and a number of other things. They said they had at least 8,200 applications. So I'm not really sure what that means, that 8,200 people fill out the USCIS form. I'm not really sure what that means. We know they've got a lot of names that people expressed interest, so we'll have to wait and see what that means. But the story also indicated that at least 100 people have been interviewed or already potentially in the process of being granted refugee status. I mean, that's interesting. So for those of you who are interviewed, the ones I've talked to, that must bode well for you, apparently. We don't know. It was unclear. But the New York Times article, as is always the case, was unbalanced. It was propaganda. It was set up in an attempt to mislead people. And they used the story as a way of rubbishing Trump as racist. They used, isn't it weird? Oh, somebody's rolling trash to the dumpster. Sound like a train was over here, but it's trash. They used this as a way to go after Trump, claiming that he was racist and that it's unfair to exclude people of color. Now, what the New York Times story doesn't tell you is that they mentioned that the program was suspended in January, but they don't tell you it was suspended for 90 days for reevaluation because of widespread, pervasive fraud by the Biden regime with regard to the refugee resettlement program. So Trump said, we have to review this to make sure it's legitimate so nobody comes here for 90 days. Well, they don't tell you that it's just for 90 days. They just tell you that it happened. So anyway, sorry, I'm just trying to see something here. So that's dishonest. And then they say it's suspended, and then they say they're going to let these white people in. Well, they get an activist, Cardenas is her name, and she complains that it's race hustler, it's racist overtones, because it's for white people. So how does that make it racist? Well, because she claims that they're excluding brown and black people. That's nonsense. For 40 years, we've allowed 45 years allowed brown and black people primarily to come in this country. Virtually no white people have been ever come to the country since the inception of this program in 1980. Virtually no white people have come from anywhere in the world. And they've been largely excluded. Certainly not from Africa. White people haven't come here. We haven't seen white people who fled from Zimbabwe come here. They haven't been given refugee status. So is it not racist to exclude white people all these years? Now that white people are being allowed to come in, it's suddenly racist? No, it's stupid nonsense. And then they quote Ernst Rutz, saying that Ernst said he doesn't know any Afrikaners who want to take up the program. That's interesting. That is fascinating to me because I know thousands of Afrikaners who expressed interest. Doesn't mean any of them are coming to America. It just means that thousands have expressed interest. And Ernst doesn't know a single one. I find that implausible. How do I find all the Afrikaners who want to leave and no one else can? I mean, some of you are watching this program now. How do I find all the Afrikaners who want to leave Africa, but no one else can? It doesn't pass the smell test. It does not pass the smell test. Anyway, so that story, that's what's going on with Mission South Africa, they're calling it. Not a very original name. Well, in Harare and Bulawayo, it was supposed to be a big protest day against the Emerson Mnangagwa's corrupt government, but the police presence frightened people off, and so it turned into a stay-away day. So the central business districts of Harare and Bulawayo completely deserted. Nobody in the streets. The few workers who went in found that their businesses were closed and they went home. Schools were closed. It was basically a stay-away to protest the corrupt regime of Emerson Mnangagwa. Well, I would say that this protest is about 7 years too late. He never should have come back from South Africa and become the president in the first place. His presidency is illegitimate since day one. Illegitimate. Well, they've gone and done it in Europe. The European Union and France have colluded to pass a fake prosecution to prevent Marine Le Pen from running for office in 2027 because she'll likely win. This is the second time this year that corrupt governments have violated the rule of law or misused the justice system to persecute conservatives. And there's a third case going on in Germany where they're trying to do it to the AfD. So they've done it in Romania, where they excluded the first round top vote getter from the elections because he's right-wing. And now they've done it to Marine Le Pen because she's right of center too. This is tyranny at work. Attacking your political opponents with bogus criminal charges to disqualify them for running for office. So there's some consequences to this conviction, not the least of which is she may go to jail. So she was convicted of embezzling 4 million euros from the European Union. And they argued that they had not invested the money. They paid to people, and they have the receipts for it, just that the EU categorized them differently than they were allowed to, so they're saying it's embezzlement. A 5-year ban from holding public office, and that prevents her from running the 2027 French presidential election, which is exactly what they wanted. She has a 4-year prison sentence. 2 years are suspended, so normally that would mean she has to go to jail for 2 years, but I don't know what's going on with that. €100,000 fine, and the one thing that is matters is she remains in her seat in Parliament, so we'll see what happens going from there. Folks, it is really bright out here today. I may have to get some sunglasses, guys. It's driving me nuts here. Let me see if I got a pair down here. It's really bright. I'm squinting here, not just from trying to read, but also just from the brightness. Look at these yellow ones. Let's see how they do. Let's see if this helps. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's much better, but now I can't read the sheet. Yeah, I cannot read this. So maybe I do this here. Maybe I'll try this. See what happens if I do this. There we go. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know how that looks on the screen. Like Roy Orbison or Stevie Wonder. Ebony and ivory live together in perfect harmony. Side by side on my piano keyboard. Oh Lord, why don't we? And then Paul McCartney jumps in. We all know that people are the same wherever you go. There is good and bad in everyone. You learn to live. We learn to give each other what we need to survive. Together alive. Anyway, well, now that I look like Stevie Wonder. All right, so Thabo and Becky is still going on about the role of South Africa, folks. Now I can't read the chat at all. About how America just doesn't get it. You know, back in the day, they would have had a diplomat come over here and explain to the stupid, ignorant Americans what exactly is the ANC's party intentions. Well, we don't need anybody explaining to us. It's pretty clear what your intentions are. Now, Mbeki is shocked that Trump issued his executive order based on disinformation about the maltreatment of Afrikaner farmers. I'm shocked at the dishonesty of Thabo Mbeki in that he has the inability to read modern standard written English. The executive order mentions no farmers. The executive order mentions mistreatment of the Afrikaner minority. So, number one, you're wrong there. Number two, the executive order also talks about the Iranians and their role interacting with South Africa, and also about the ICJ case. So it's not merely, folks, about the position that Mbeki's taking, a misinformation or disinformation regarding Afrikaner farmers. It's not about that at all. In fact, Trump didn't mention farmers until March 7th, a month after issuing an executive order. So typical nonsense coming from the ANC. So Thabo Mbeki, who says he's trying to rebuild relations, still is acting like the fool. Or the ANC just doesn't get it. They think this is all about farmers because Trump had one tweet in 2018, and then here we are in 2025, 7 years later, and he issues the executive order which doesn't mention farmers, and they just assume it's farmers. Unbelievable. All right. So, Mbeki also argued at this event, focused on the African Union, that Trump's executive order is a reaction to the loss of American hegemony. Yeah, okay. In a multipolar world, the United States is far more powerful than any other player, so I don't think we're really concerned about that. Now, Ronnie Lamola comically said at a gathering of ANC and NEC members, talking about the relationship with America, he says that we're practicing diplomacy. We're not in the business of trading insults with anyone in the world. No, you're not in the practice of trading insults. You're just in the practice of offending your friends and neighbors. Yeah, calling us names all the time. We're not trading insults. You're the one insulting us all the time. And additionally, Ronnie Lamola at that meeting said that the land issue is non-negotiable. But he fails to address the fact that the land issue is not the land issue that the ANC claims it is. There's plenty of land. The government owns 21% of all land surface area in South Africa. They could distribute some of that. The government has title deed to most of the RDP houses. Why don't they surrender that? And the other piece of this is that they're simply being just honest about how much land other people have. So that's a problem. That's a problem for these clowns. Thanks to the 573 people currently here. Be sure to hit that like button if you don't mind. Now, Trump has warned Volodymyr Zelensky about rejecting a peace deal. It says, don't try to back out of the rare earth deal that Trump negotiated with him. We'll see what happens there, but that's not good. That's bad news. The ANC, for its part, says we will pay the price. The ANC remains defiant, rejecting U.S. threats. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the United States has not threatened South Africa, not in the least. Where do they get this nonsense from? There are no threats. No one's threatened to take you out of AGOA, other than some commentators, certainly not the government, and that's who matters. The people who vote on it sit in Congress. So that's who matters, and no one is threatening South Africa. This is just another lie from the ANC. That's all they do is lie, lie, lie. It says we will pay the price. You won't pay the price. You're rich, fat, connected fat cats. The people will pay the price. The people whose jobs will be lost in the automotive industry and the ancillary industries around that, and the support industries, as well as in the wine industry. So the ANC won't pay any price at all. That's just utter nonsense. Their arrogance, they're happy to pay the price. Well, there is no price that they're paying. They're simply lying to the world. Lying to the world. How are we doing there? 591. Is that 5 or 600? It's 591. It was 600 a moment ago. Yeah. ANC Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane says that the ANC wants to engage AfriForum and Solidarity. Well, and they want to do it constructively. I will tell you that if you want to engage AfriForum Solidarity, you ought to start with dropping the nonsensical treason allegations. They've committed no treason. They've simply taken action, which is perfectly reasonable. All right. 3 of those 4 Army soldiers lost with that M88 recovery vehicle. Their bodies have been recovered. No further information. The 4th, they're still searching for. And in the United Kingdom, the biggest retail chain, Primark, the CEO has resigned after what is described as an improper act towards a woman in a social environment. So that's interesting. So the CEO of Primark steps on his crank. Huge business in the UK, Ireland, where it was started, even in the United States. Primark is a huge business. And so he steps on his crank by saying or doing something inappropriate with a woman. Lord knows what he said, but he's gone. So he's resigned as the CEO of Primark, and he's out. Boy, it's really bright here. How are you all doing out there, folks? You remember, everyone, hello. I got my windows down, but I'm sitting here very warm today. Should have gone out to the picnic table over there and sat down. Maybe get out of the sun a little bit. You guys up for a walk with me over to the picnic table? Should I do that? Should I go to the picnic table? Nobody's saying anything. 272 likes. Somebody gave a super chat. I missed that. My apologies for missing your super chat. But if I'm going to go there, I'm going to have to put the windows up in this car. I think I'll try that. We'll go over to the picnic table and see how that sounds. All right? Why are the chat not coming up? There's no chat here. Am I live? It says I'm live, but no chat. Usually people are chatting at this stage. Anyway, I'm going to talk about these programs a little bit more. So let me go ahead and shut these windows. Okay.
You cash just the opportunity.
Okay. Okay. Take the sunglasses with me. Yep. Alrighty. The reading glasses too, because I can't read without them anymore. Now, I usually don't come out here in the sun because the wind kicks up and it's hard for people to hear me. Not always, but we'll see today. All right. So can you guys see me? It's really bright out here. Oof. Even with these sunglasses on, it's pretty bright. But I walk down towards the creek, Yellow Breeches Creek, that fly fishing spot I tell people about. It actually has a course that runs through Carlisle Barracks. That's where we're headed, down to the creek. Typically a few ducks hanging out down there. I didn't come down here earlier because they were cutting trees. So the tree trimmers were out here making a lot of noise and really couldn't hear anything earlier. Looks like they've taken a break for lunch. Not making noise anymore. Behind me's making a lot of noise, huh? Well, they trimmed some of the big branches off this huge tree behind me. Well, not behind me now, but down here where I sit by the water. Whew. A little cooler out here than sitting in the car. Somebody's honking their horn. Spring has arrived. Trees are blooming. Cherry blossoms are coming out already. There's a hawk flying around. Must be looking for a mouse. Probably hungry. Oh crap, is somebody using the picnic table? Oh, bite my bottom. They've scarfed both picnic tables. This guy's working on it. So where am I going to sit now? That sucks. I'll have to find some other spot to do this. All right. I don't know how I'm going to do this now, guys. Might just have to end the broadcast. So here you go. It's quite windy out here. It feels nice walking around. Aha, I found some other picnic tables. Found some other picnic tables. Oh, bite me. Somebody's coming out. Oh, no, he's leaving. Okay. So, nobody's sitting there, and somebody came out as soon as I walked over towards it. So, whew. Hard to see. It's so bright out here. Quite windy, too, as you can pick up. This is the Cumberland Valley, so there's mountains on both sides, a long, narrow valley. Actually, it's kind of broad, to be honest. And the wind just whips through here. All right, let's see what we got here now. Okay. Try to get out of the wind best I can. There we go. All right. Are we still going live? Looks like we are. 700 people here. Wow, I picked up more people by walking around showing nature, not talking. All right, now I can see. I can see the screen again. And there's no chat coming in. Why is the chat not coming in? I don't understand that. If you guys are chatting, hit the like button. Because some of you haven't hit the like button. I get 344 likes. But I'm not seeing any messages come through for some time now. That's really weird. Is YouTube up to something new again? Anyway. Usually I can see. Hang on a second. Live chat. Okay, there we go. There we go. You go, man. It says, okay, got it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I finally found it. Okay, so, whew. All right, this is a little bit better. Let me move back further so I can. There we go. Anyway, so Trump's plan is called Mission South Africa. That's what they're saying. New York Times, they broke this story. And yeah, the area is quite beautiful here. So that creek you just saw is called Yellow Breeches. That's just one little branch of it. Yeah, I was going to say, you guys are never quiet in the chat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Latort Creek. Yeah, it's Latort Creek. That's correct. It is Latort Creek, which is a branch of Yellow Breeches Creek. It connects with it. So, yeah, so that's Latort Creek that runs through Carlisle Barracks. And you can see that they put stones and channel it through here so that it stays under control. Yeah, no, this is not where the tents will be. The tents won't be here. No, there'll be no tents here. Maybe they're cutting the trees down so they can make space for the tents. That might be what's going on. But Trump's Mission South Africa would love to have a place like that. Well, yeah, people here, there's little kids over here, they're on a trampoline. It's got a little net around it. This kid must be like 2 or 3 years old. And there's another one. There's the parents out there just bouncing around on it, perfectly safe. No fences, no security lighting, no razor wire, no roaming guard patrols, no firearms, no gunshots. All I have hearing in the background is this annoying train which finally passed. Yeah, no, this is not too far from where I live. This is where I worked every day. Just what to the stream? Just shared the stream. Okay. Oh yeah, no, it's okay. So the impromptu streams, Earl, are when I'm doing consulting at the War College, which is twice a year. I do this for a couple weeks, 3 weeks total, 1 week early on, then 2 weeks later together. And that's what's going on now. So these are the 2 weeks that I do this. So I can only come out on my breaks or when I'm able to take a lunch. And I can't just do this anytime. The building I work in, it's a secure facility. I can't take a mobile phone in there, so I can't check anything. So that's one reason why you see me oftentimes when I do this with notes, because I make notes, a few notes of myself, so I remember what news stories I want to talk about. So Max has a set of skills. We don't care, Max. It doesn't matter whether you have skills or not. If you want to apply for the refugee program, yeah, no fences, no fence. Now the installation has a fence because it's a military installation, but not all of it. The other side of the highway doesn't have any fence around because that's a residential area. But this side has a wall on one side of it, just a low wall and a fence line. So, I mean that's normal for military installation, so that people don't wander onto it because it's controlled access. Not everybody can come on here. If you're not an authorized access person, in other words, military or retiree or family members or someone that works here, then you have to sign into the installation. So we have control. That waxes and wanes. Sometimes that's a pretty strict standard. Sometimes it gets softer. As you can imagine, after 9/11, installation of all access was for all of America was very slow getting on post because of all the wow, a lot of chat there. No broken windows, no cars broken into, no carjackings, no theft. Consulting for a couple years. Well, I don't know if you will work for them. That's up to them. But if you have an offer from them, and if you apply for the refugee program, you should mention that you work for a company and you have a job offer, and you might be able to locate wherever they've got you, where their headquarters at, or wherever they might want you to work. So keep that in mind. Yep. Yeah, I can't put my wallet next to my phone because I'll zero out my credit cards. It doesn't work that way. I take the wind as a problem. It's too strong. Sorry, guys. Nothing I can do about that except maybe move to a different spot where there's a pillar over there. That might work. Sorry. You can hear a bell? I don't hear any bell. That might have been the construction vehicle that went by. Yeah, sorry for the wind, guys, but as I said, if you look at a map, you'll see the Appalachian Mountains are on one side of the Cumberland Valley, and on the other side, and it's a long valley that runs along for about 90 kilometers. Yep. Voice note about new forms buying a house. So now you got to report your race when you buy a house in South Africa. Good God, that's just messed up. That's just messed up. Yeah. So. Winds have changed. Yeah, no, I can't control the wind, guys. I can't do that. So thanks to 775 people currently here. Just 448 likes. Can't we do a little bit better than that? Hit the like button, folks. I've historically, when I've been here, had good luck, with this IP address when it connects to this tower and getting a larger audience, even when I had a smaller channel. Yeah, even when I had a smaller channel. Purple Storm, I have no idea what you're saying. Alright, so you've been timed out, Purple Storm, for being an asswipe. You've been timed out for being rude. Put the race on a rolling school. No, and people talk about the National Party being demented about race. It's the ANC that's demented about race. And their excuses are unacceptable. They're lame. No, I just put Purple Storm in a timeout, and if I need to put PK in a timeout, I'll do it as well. And if Purple Storm, if you got spanked for no reason, then my apologies, but the last comment I saw you was just inappropriate. So, PK, you're on warning. My mods were sleeping there, so I'll have to do that myself. 821 people currently here. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. So back to what I was talking about. So Trump has got, according to the New York Times, you can go to the New York Times. You can find the story there, folks. Check it out. I beat the South African press because of the timing. I beat them by about 6 hours with my video last night. I stayed up after my live stream to make the video, analyze it, and make my comments. Now, they are reporting information from sources in Washington, D.C., it appears, from Washington, D.C. So someone in America is divulging government information illegally to the media, and they should be hunted down and prosecuted for disclosing government information. Whether it's classified or not isn't germane. People shouldn't know this information. But since it was already out there, it bared commenting on and analyzing. Therefore, I did a video last night talking about Mission South Africa. Now, in Mission South Africa, they say that... okay, PK, well, I put Purple Storm in a timeout. Okay, anyway. So an age limit for families with children. What do you mean an age limit? I don't understand that question. What does that question mean? What do you mean age limit? Children stop being children at 18. Some still behave like children in their 40s, but yeah. Your kids are 16 and 14. Yeah, and they're your dependents, so you apply as head of household. Case closed. Done and dusted. Were you expecting something else? There's no age limit. 92-year-olds and 2-year-olds. No, it's not only farmers, Xander. And the New York Times wants you to believe it's only farmers, and so does the South African government, but it's not only farmers. It's never been farmers. Now, Trump, because of the nonsense coming from South Africa, elaborated in a social media post on Truth Social on March 7th about farmers, but the executive order doesn't say anything about farmers. You just have to read it. It doesn't say anything about farmers. It also doesn't say white people. It just says Afrikaners. Yeah, so there you go. Of course you can start your own business. Wow, you guys are new to this program, aren't you? Oh, shut up, you yapping dog, for God's sake. Stupid mutt. Oh, why people love dogs so much? They're so annoying. Anyway, yeah, so of course you can start your own business. You can buy a house if you have the resources, but you get here, understand you're not going to have any credit history when you come to America, so you're going to have to build your credit history unless you have money and you're independently wealthy. Also, not a good time to buy a house, and interest rates are far too high, so. I don't care what your first language is. If you're ethnically an Afrikaner, you're ethnically an Afrikaner. So it depends how the U.S. government defines that, so we have to wait and see. That's the key, what the U.S. government defines. You can email Amerikaners if you want. I'd recommend you email the embassy at the email address that's provided, just to let them know you have an interest so you don't miss out. So, yeah. Don't be resistant to the poor doggy. Poor doggy, he's being annoying. What's poor about him? He's just being annoying over there. Thoughts on younger gents applying the Army? Well, I've covered that as well, Solar. I don't care if people apply for the Army as long as you're qualified. We have plenty of foreign nationals in our military. You don't even have to come to America to apply to the military. It's easier, though. H-2B visa doesn't help at all, to my knowledge. Yep. Yeah, there's an email address from Hendo. If you're interested in the program, I would send an email to that address expressing your interest. Now, the Amerikaners have a template, if you go to Amerikaners' website, of information they think you should send the embassy. I don't know whether you should send the embassy that or not. I don't know if they should. The wind is more annoying. Well, not to me. It's not bothering my reception. It's you guys that can't hear me. Mickey Dangerous, welcome back. Arr! Arr! Mud. Anyway. So yeah, no, you can start a business, you can buy a house, you can go to university, you can do all kinds of things here. But all those things have, constraints, restrictions. You got to be qualified to get into university. You got to be able to pay for it. Now you can get grants, but bear in mind that you have to have in-state versus out-of-state tuition. The reason for in-state versus out-of-state tuition is that people pay taxes in a specific state. Some of that money goes towards the tertiary education to pay for universities and colleges. So if you're not from that state, then they're not going to let you get over. How long do you have to study affairs? Well, I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. There are no affairs to settle if you're in a refugee camp in Chad or Uganda or Kenya. There's no affairs to settle. You just go. But this is in country. It's very different. So, guys, you're just going to have to go with the flow, okay? You're going to have to go with the flow because this is a unique situation. Yeah, people are freaking out for nothing. As a family, a little town away from a major metro like Durban or Pretoria, we hope the program will also visit smaller towns, especially as expensive traveling in South Africa. Well, Tony, you may just miss out. I've already covered this and said that it's likely that they'll do this in the major cities, but they're not going to go to every town and drive around the country hunting for people that want to escape. You're going to have to figure a way to get to wherever they're doing it and make it happen. Otherwise, you're going to miss out. I mean, are you going to skip an appointment in Pretoria because it's 300 kilometers away? Because you couldn't find a ride there? You're going to have to make a plan. Don't Boers always say, Boer maak 'n plan? You need to make a plan, folks. Be prepared for it. Was there any new developments? Yeah, there was new developments. No, there were new developments, Primal Bono. Apparently you're not watching my videos. I made a video last night, stayed up till 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock. It took that long to load the damn thing. And I made a video because the New York Times reported on a whole bunch of information that wasn't publicly known. some of which I knew, but I couldn't share because I don't betray confidences. That's not a wise thing to do. So the New York Times disclosed information that the public shouldn't have known about in a story, and so since they confirmed it, I went ahead and reported on it. And that is Trump's program for South Africa. It's called Mission South Africa, and it has already gotten at least 8,200 applications. I don't know what that means, applications. That's not an email. How do they have applications when the program doesn't exist? Did people go to the USCIS site and fill out the generic form and send it at the embassy? I don't know. The problem with these journalists in South Africa is they're not journalists. They have no idea what they're talking about, and that's the same with the New York Times. They didn't explain what an application is. There's a big difference between sending an email to somebody and filing an application, but you wouldn't know that from the way that they behave because they just, anyway, so, yeah. And there's more to it. So they've already looked for commercial buildings for ad hoc refugee processing centers across Pretoria, but they didn't talk about other places. Why would B-52s be headed to the Maldives? That doesn't make any sense. B-52s would be headed to Diego Garcia if we were going to bomb Iran. So, the truth by Willie, why are you asking me a silly question? Why is Pretoria the only place to go for interviews? Who said it was the only place to go for interviews? Why not the Consulate Cape Town? Do you watch any of my content? Who said Pretoria was the only place to go for interviews? No one said that. Why do people infer things that are never implied? No one said that. What was said is that they've already found commercial sites for ad hoc refugee processing centers in Pretoria. The story didn't elaborate any further. It didn't say that whether they've gone to Bloemfontein or to our consulate in Cape Town or to our consulate in Durban. So why do you make that assumption? Good Lord. I mean, I'll tell you what, so what? It's only in Pretoria. So now you're not going to take them up on the offer? Come on, man. Do you think there's any merit to my personal thought that Trump... Good Lord, enough with the wind already. Between the yapping dogs and the tree cutting the wind. Get off my lawn. Okay. Do you think there's any merit to my personal thought that Trump may encourage people to settle and swing? No. Why are you thinking that? Where do you get that conclusion from? Trump won't have any say in this. The Department of Homeland Security determines where people in the refugee resettlement program settle based on absorptive capacity. All right? That's a hypothesis on your part. There's nothing to merit it. I don't know why you come up with that conclusion. And besides, 30,000 Afrikaners coming here. Most of these refugees who come here wind up becoming Republicans in the end anyway. It's only the criminal alien invaders who steal citizenship that vote for the Democrats, not people who earn their citizenship. And besides, Trump can't run for office again. By the time a refugee is eligible to vote, we're talking 6 or 7 years from now. So why would he do that? If an account cannot answer why, then is it most likely the bot? No idea what you're talking about, BK. What bot? The embassy? They're not going to answer 85,000 emails. Do you honestly expect a person to answer 85,000 emails? Get real. It's an auto reply. That's not a bot. Auto reply and bot are not the same thing. A bot interacts with you. An auto reply simply responds to a message received. Yeah, it sounded pretty windy there, didn't it? Yaku. How will we know if mail the embassy is enough? You don't. Will there be an official application? Yes, there will be. Because a lot of people have been interviewed. No, a lot of people have been interviewed, Alma. A lot of people have been interviewed. How many people have been interviewed, Alma? We have at least 127,000 heads of household names turned in. Some are duplicate. Let's say there's 100,000. We know 100,000 for sure. How many are locked to you, Alma? I know of a half a dozen people have been interviewed. The article indicates 100 people may be already being considered. That's a lot? That's not a lot. That's nothing. Is there a way of buying a vehicle to be able to go for interviews? In South Africa? Yeah, go buy a car, man. Here comes the wind again. Shaving the crickets. It's like hurricane weather here. Thank you for the 70 rand there, David Delport. Let's have a quick fundraiser to buy you some AirPods, noise canceling earphones for those windy days. Drove 350 kilometers to Pretoria and had my interview today, says South Africa. Okay. There you go. Somebody's taking it seriously. Truth by Willie. Well, then you can't hear me cock you out, Willie. If you can't hear me because the wind's too loud, then you can't hear me chew you out. You can't cancel all of us. Oh, my goodness. So Jacques says, wait, you already knew what the New York Times already knew? Well, Jacques, I can neither confirm nor deny that. What do you think? Let me ask you this question, Jacques. How do you think I'm able to put out a video, edited and produced less than 40 minutes after I go off air about a New York Times story that takes 10 minutes to read? You do the math. It took 10 minutes for someone to read that story. And that's what they say at the top, because they have, it takes 9 minutes, 49 seconds to listen to it. So 40 minutes after I finished my live stream, my video was up and loaded. And I only saw the article posted while we were live. So you do the math, and then you tell me what you think about whether I knew what was going on or not, okay? Folks, you forget, I worked in the intelligence field, and you can't disclose confidences, I can only tell you what I can tell you, and I can give you analysis, and I have to be very careful about my analysis. Oftentimes I have information from sources or because I know about certain programs that I know about that I can't disclose. So I have to be very careful in my analysis. So there are times I have to let other people get a scoop because I can't share things. It's just how it is, man. Just how it is. No, there's not anything after that, Primal Boar. That was the most recent thing. Yep. I think New York Times are also stirring the pot. Yes, they are, Dr. Clue. That was my point. I gave 5 reasons why you can not trust our analysis, okay? Now, the authors of that article are not the same author as the gentleman that's based in South Africa who's taking stories from Afrikaners who are interested in the program. Those who contacted me and I forwarded their information to, okay? Not the same people. There will be a formal application process. I will hike to Durban if I have to. Exactly. There you go, Tony. There you go. Yeah, South Africa, if you don't mind, I'd appreciate you reach out to me and share your information from your interview so I can make a video about that as well. All right? If you don't mind. I'd be grateful for that. And that'll help me keep people informed. So, all right. There you go, Ravani. Well, Liz, I don't know what to tell you. There's nowhere for me to go and do this. These are classified buildings. I can't sit inside. My picnic tables over there have been co-opted by the people cutting trees. There's nowhere else to sit. I can't get out of the wind. And at least I can see the screen here. I couldn't see the screen of my car. It was overheating. What if I'm bilingual? Language has nothing to do with it, Michael Priest. It's nothing to do with it. If you're an Afrikaner, whatever the government defines as an Afrikaner, then you would qualify. Bilingual, I speak 6 languages. That doesn't stop me from being an American. Truth by Willie, so you don't have time to watch all. I got you, Truth by Willie. Fair enough. Fair enough. So you did hear me cock you out. I thought you couldn't hear. I'm confused. Should we send an email? Yes. Oh, not again. No, Peter, if you've already sent one, don't send another. All you do is gum up the works. Don't be sending multiple emails. You're just going to piss them off. Here comes the UPS truck. People getting even some base guardian in the process. Cave Garden says, we love you. Well, thank you very much. Getting the Colonel fired up. No, I'm not that fired up. Article, the teams are studying more than 8,000 requests. Did they change it, Elizabeth? Because it said applications initially. Elizabeth Bezuidenhout, did the story change to requests now? Oh, Jesus. UPS guy in his noisy truck. Has the New York Times article been edited and altered to say request? Because if they did, then I'm going to tell you what, they're definitely watching my program because I cocked them out about that. It's not, it should be request. It's not applications. There's a difference. Your hair is too perfect in the wind, Colonel. Well, thank you. I believe that your analysis, the ANC are not reading the room. That is correct, Pat Kerba. The ANC is not reading the room, nor is the media. They're not reading the room, and they're doing very poorly. No, we have no idea, Charlie. Charlie, I have no idea. I know people in Gauteng, and I know people in the Western Cape who've contacted me who have appointments. Others, I don't know where they're coming from. So, yeah. But it appears they didn't offer appointments to people based on geographic location. They offered it to people. Thank you, Renell. Yeah, I mean, that's funny. What do you guys expect me about the wind? Put my hands up. Stop the wind. Okay. You stop? Do you think I'll be able to stop the wind? Come on, man. Yeah, you have to wait until they notify you to come for an interview. That's correct. Hang on, the UPS truck is loud. Crappy diesel engines. You'll see him pass behind me now. There he goes. All right, so up to now, the embassy was the only place they saw people for. Received that from the embassy before we went for an interview. For now, correct. Appreciate the obstacle in the U.S. I won't be taking it up, but my powder's dry. Okay, Edward, that's cool. When we go for the interview, will there be tea, coffee, snacks? Yes, yes. There'll be biltong and gruyvors and pop and fleiss. They'll have Castle Lager and Savannah Dry, and we'll have strippers, and we'll have Disney dolls for the kids. It'll be lovely, man. It's going to be fantastic. This is not really about refugee resettlement. It's all about enjoying yourself in the interview. So yeah, exactly. Good question there, Culinary Pirates. It's easy to see who they're just. Ask why. What? I don't know what that means. Carried away on the suggestion of President Trump to assist with making the Western Cape independent. Milo, that is not my place to do. I'm not a South African. It's not my place to argue for or against Cape independence. That's for South Africans to discuss with the president. It's my job to report on, analyze it. That's what I do. That said, I may have passed some information to certain people. I'm sure that with the Americana community we'll assist each other. Well, I hope so. Been a lot of belly aching on this program. All PK's done with the bots. Ladies, we're going to show some leg when you hitchhike. Yeah, I think maybe as difficult as it is, we all need to chill, wait for actual information. I am guilty, though, getting random emails and jumping conclusions. Yes, you got to stop jumping conclusions, Tracy. Just curious if somebody has done some early days polling in the U.S. Guys, again, nobody knows about something. Nobody cares about you. No one cares about you. Nobody. Nobody. There's probably more Americans watching my program that know about the program than the rest of the country combined. Nobody cares. Why do you care about the polling? Nobody cares. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody gives a flying flip. Nobody cares. They don't care. Nobody gives a shit. Why are you worried about it? It's 330 million people here spread out over millions of square miles of territory. Nobody knows you're coming. Nobody cares. Except the racists who went around and go, oh, how come the white people get to come? How come only white people get to come? That's why people care. People use it for political purpose. Americans don't give a flying flip. I don't care who wins in Wisconsin. Black Current says I'll go as far as I have to the interview. Yep. What will be a UN discussion? There'll be no UN discussion about refugees to America. There's no UN involvement in that. We get all kinds of trees here. We got elm trees, we got oak trees, we got cherry trees, we've got there's a blue spruce over there, there's a ponderosa pine, there's a birch bark tree over there. They got all kinds of trees around here. Everything grows here. They're not all indigenous. People don't keep up with the kernel and they get lost in the information in the stream. They need to keep themselves updated, watch the stream. Yeah, well then fine. If you don't have time to watch my videos, just go watch refugee videos. I mean, it's not too hard to ask people to do, is it? There's a whole playlist, the refugee program. I only put videos that are related to information about the refugee program there. I think I made it pretty easy for people. I've even made a Substack, which I can't post here because I'm on my mobile. I've even made a Substack in which people can just go ahead and go to the Substack and click and see each video. They're all there. And I've even put descriptions of some of them in there now. And so, I mean, I don't know why it's so difficult. I think a lot of people, I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings, but a lot of people are just lazy. They expect attention the moment they show up. 2 people had an interview, okay? No, it's not cold at all. It's springtime. It's very pleasant out here. I will watch the web. You must relax, Chris. I've replied or I'm going to step out. Why do I have to relax, Truth by Willie? You're the one asking me the same question over and over again. Why do I have to relax? No, I won't relax. I've done nothing wrong. The wind's going to blow me away. Now, it would be impossible to do interviews all over the world because it's a violation of law. Why would we do interviews all over the world? South Africans who are outside South Africa, their life's not in jeopardy. They're not in South Africa. So why in the world? See, you're missing the... Why is somebody smoking here? This is not a smoking area. Now I'm breathing in cigarette smoke. Somebody's smoking a non-smoking area. This is not an immigration program there, Utingo. It's a refugee resettlement program for people's lives are in jeopardy in South Africa. Why in the world will we talk to people all over the world? That's illegitimate. It's also illegal. All right, Jane. Is it Brian? Who's it? Iron Brian talked about driver's license a million times. You have to get a U.S. driver's license when you come here. Your national driver's license don't mean jack squat. Your national driver's license is tied to your national driver's license, and it's only as valid as long as that. And if you relocate somewhere, it's no longer valid. It's for tourism, not for resettlement. So you must get a driver's license in the state where you settle within the prescribed period of time. Some states it's 30 days, some states it's 60 days, some states it's 90 days. Pennsylvania, I believe it's 60 days. I was here from 2015 to 2019, but I didn't have a Pennsylvania license because I was an Ohio resident. There's a special law for military that you don't change your residency when you go from state to state. So I had to, when I retired from the Army, I had to get a Pennsylvania license, and I did it within the first 30 days. I don't know why people get wrapped around the axle about license. If you got a driver's license, your driver's license will transfer over pretty easy. If not, take the damn test. It's not hard. Ship? What ship? No one's got any ship. What are you talking about? Okay, I've just answered this question about bilingualism. You know, I don't know why people ask the same question. What is unrealistic from an economic viewpoint? Several 100,000 people wanting to go over. How is that unrealistic from an economic viewpoint? I don't understand your point there, Solar Zora. What's your point? Unrealistic for who? From what economic standpoint? For America? Did you watch the last 4 years? As Joe Biden illegally shipped 12 million people into this country who were illegal criminal invaders? We didn't miss a beat. So what are you talking about, a couple 100,000 people? That's a drop in the bucket. It's a couple 100,000 people. Wouldn't even notice it. Yeah, the capital letters are fine in the email, Gary. That's the way the embassy sent it out. You can use it just the way he put it in there. Thank you, Liz. Yes, the information we're out there getting shows they want to sow doubt and misinformation. Yep, and that's what I'm here to fight, the doubt and misinformation. More than 800 of how many 10,000 pre-interviews is it for planning? 800 what, Derek? Where are you getting 800 from? I never said 800. Where are you getting 800 from? Did somebody say that in the chat? There's no 800. WhatsApp going around, which is probably aimed at scary people. Yeah, with regards to that, yep. I'm old, but I love your podcast. RG, I've had a lot of patience with people, okay? A lot of patience. Ask the people that watch the program consistently. I've been beyond patient with people, and I've been personally attacked by people who are disrespectful and rude, and people whose feelings are hurt too easily. I mean, you know, but my program is not, you know, to resettle people in America. My program is a news program, and I've devoted countless hours, and at this point, about 135, 140,000 billable hours for immigration consulting advice, which has been 100% correct, and I've not asked for a penny. So I think I've been more than patient, RG. People aren't being patient with me. Elaine wants to know who and when will they clarify includes color and Indians not. I don't know, Elaine, when, but that will be up to the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security. It'll be up to State Department defines who an Afrikaner is, or if it includes ethnic minorities. So, yeah. All right, well, sorry, you got to go, Safa. Take care. Yeah, sources trust me for a reason. You're welcome, Rob. No, I have nothing to do with the Illuminati. Tesla's never been to Cape Town. Join the Colonel's cock-out session. Very held back for a Colonel. Yeah, thank you, Primal Boar. Yeah, people never served in the Army, just don't know. Ernst Roach just posted something. How do we contact you, Liz? Well, the email gets put in the chat endlessly. I've seen it posted by moderators at least twice in this stream. The ones back in our day will not see the Colonel as being rude, guys. Trust me, as they call it. Yeah, no, that's, yeah, this is very, very calm. There's the email address again. If you can, here comes the wind. Does that help? I don't think that helps. If you complain about getting to the interview, you're not desperate enough to leave. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, not to hurt anybody's feelings, but I think that's exactly right. If you're going to sit there and complain about that, or you're going to go, well, I don't know if I want to go there because this, then you're not desperate. It's for desperate people. Why do you fear you won't get into the program, Loretta? Why do you fear you won't get in the program? I don't know where the urban consulate is. I've never been there. Well, on Amanda Hoffman, we've also posted, I saw Hendo post the email address in this chat at least once for where the address is. Guys, the U.S. Embassy, zaUSembassy.gov, zaUSembassy.gov has the email address, and my moderators put it in here frequently. Okay, you got the email, Marius? How do you have the email, Marius? I haven't sent it to you. You're welcome, Chris. Let's not start believing mainstream media now, people. Stick to the facts shared here over the last 2 months already. Stay calm and focused. Exactly, Stella. There it is. Ronell just put the email address in there. Derek, welcome to you. It's not a storm, it's just windy here. It's like this in the spring when it's chilly, although it's nice today, and you freeze because the wind blows. And then in the summertime when it's hot, the wind doesn't blow. It's annoying. Would you meet us at the airport? Well, Liz, you're probably going to come into Atlanta or New York, so no. I'm not driving to Newark to greet people. I'm not going to Atlanta to greet people. Look, one of my mods, if Purple Storm is out of control, you can or if you haven't done already, just block the person from the channel. I can't see what they're writing, so. Philip, did I throw my source on the bus? No, I didn't. Thank you, Bram. Sorry to hear that. You lost your leg, Iron. That's terrible. Sorry, that's a bobcat going by. Very noisy. It's basically a lawnmower with a hood on top of it, with a bonnet. Elizabeth says it states request now on the site. So now it says on the ZA US Embassy site has request. Well, if that's the case, then hit them up again. Hit them up again. If it's different than it was before, then hit them up again. Marius, don't disclose what you're doing, okay? Percy Trollop, hello to you. Can you drink the water out of the tap? Well, that's a silly question. Where? Manhattan. Milwaukee, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Almost everywhere in America you can drink the water out of the tap, except Flint, Michigan. Who drinks tap water? I don't drink tap water. Save as much money as you can, Valerie. That's right. That should always be the plan. Studying more than 8,000 job requests, expressing interest in reselling them already identified. That's what the article said. And I got the impression someone said that they changed it. They said applications, but in part of the story. Okay. I can't add any links. I'm on my mobile phone. That's impossible for me to do. One of my mods can do it. Please post, one of the mods post the link to last night's video in which I talk about the New York Times story. See? Thank you, Drucker. The New York Times did change it. Now, funny how the New York Times changed that. It got through an editor, and then I rubbished it, and then it changed. Funny that. Is that a coincidence, or is it a Joe incidence? Lewis gave a super chat. Have you posted that sheet with all the information? No, I have not, Lewis. I have not. Appointment set on our wedding. Family Unit 3 soon, says Mickey. Okay, cool. Suzuki Jimmy. Okay. A lot of me going out trying to convince us to stay in an indirect way. Don't get it. We don't have any rights here, so I don't know if we want to stay, says Val. I got you, Val. Nah, Jaco, Brett, people can ask all their questions, but why people cannot just go watch the videos? I don't understand. You people bitching and moaning about the win. They can't hear me, yet the video, there's no win. I took the time, it's edited, the facts are there. The videos are short, they're concise, they're to the point. There's a video on who's eligible, generally speaking, not the Down for Content program, but categories of people who are eligible. There's a video on background checks, there's a video on finances, there's a video on dismissing the myths and rumors, there's a video on all the updates, there's 2 videos, one each on the interview process that's already been conducted, preliminary interviews. I mean, it's a buffet. You know, go pull what you want from it. Take the shrimp, get a little bit of lamb, whatever you want from the menu. So go watch the videos. I don't know why, but people want to sit here and complain about the win, and then they want to ask the same question over and over again. It's kind of hard. Eric, 199 Rand. Go get yourself a coffee. Well, there's a little food shop right here. That's what these picnic tables are. Strippers. Yeah, I meant paint strippers. Exactly. Thank you very much, Erica. All right, Rory, have a good one. I'm wounded. So many people think they're the center of the universe. Which video is the one where you rubbish 67,000 farmers? I can't remember its name. I didn't rubbish the 60,000 farmers, Arne. What I rubbished was the comments from, was it Kumbutu Nchevene, who said that it's a lie that 70,000 farmers were trying to come to America. Well, of course it's a lie. There aren't 70,000 commercial farmers in South Africa. It's stupid. So I rubbished her, not the 67,000. 67,000 is true. The South African Chamber of Commerce USA turned in a list of 67,042 heads of household names. And then the Amerikaners gave a list of 27,000 heads of household names. And then the embassy had over 30,000 emails as of 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's over 11 million jobs. Yep. Yeah, I can't delete messages. Looks like we had a few trolls show up. When you listen to fellow South African refugees complain about white South Africans being considered refugees, you would swear they think that South Africans cannot be counted as such. Yeah. Is there any hope to have a free and fair South Africa? Yes, Vossi, I think there is a chance, but you know, people have just been sitting back for too long, letting things pass them by, especially white South Africans. Yep. Received an email with regards to the electronic registration process. Okay, so you made a statement, but you put a question mark at the end, so I don't really understand what you're saying, Sonia. We don't drive on the left side, we drive on the right side. Numos, welcome to you. All right, Andrew, take care. So, Edward wants to know if I carry or if I've concealed. That's for me to know, for you to find out. No, I can't go inside. I can't. You must have just tuned in. It's impossible. The buildings are classified. I can't take a transmission device in a classified building. I'll go to jail. Usually my mic does a good job drowning out the wind, but it's coming from multiple directions simultaneously. 2.8 million Afrikaners who are white in South Africa. Raven, there's no time for me to talk about my military career here. My interest. That's inappropriate. When I'm in the studio, I can do that. No. Thank you, Nuas. You put the same message twice. What would be the first thing you would do when you land in the USA? Well, I live in the USA. What do you mean would be the first thing I do? Hey, Arctic. I can't recommend for you, Gerardus Jacobus, what to do. That's your decision. Now, I'm not in Cape Town. I'm in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Jacques says, I feel your pain with some questions being asked over. Some should just take the time. I know, it's just really lazy. It's not hard. I could make it any simpler. It's also a bit inconsiderate at some point, you know? Judy, you asked a question that has been asked before. He says, what kind of groups are you referring to that you've been with DH14? Any groups. Any groups. I mentioned it in my video. You didn't see the video, did you? Well, I stood in the rain for you all. I went out and stood in the rain to make a video for you all. Yeah, so were you in the Scouts? Were you in the Boermag? That might be a problem. Were you in Reform and Solidarity? Were you in the Cape Town Theater Group? Any groups you've been in? I mean, I don't understand, Judy, why that's so hard. Is there some group you're trying to hide, or some group you think is not important? Just list them all. They ask for it. If it's not important, they'll disregard it. Okay. Yeah, not much wind yet. Trying to catch up in the chat, folks, because the chat wasn't feeding for a while. No, I haven't seen the assault in the police station. Well, no, Bridget, it's not a soldier thing. I mean, I'm answering the exact same question, literally 60 seconds after I just answered the question, and people are like, well, what's wrong? Dude, I just answered the question a minute ago, and you're asking the same question. I realize that people just pop into the chat, and then they ask the question. That's why that happens, but seriously. I think Cornet, look, you've made a very good point here. Some people don't understand what a refugee is. They don't. They don't. People don't listen. They hear what they want to hear. Oh, Trump says I can come to America. That's not exactly what he said. And I want to bring my cats and my dogs and my Mustang, my 69 Mustang, and my girlfriend and my small house and no, okay, that's not what we're talking about. You're not immigrating here. It's a refugee. But Cornet, I've explained what a refugee is every day since February 7th. Every day on multiple broadcasts. So Learn to eat a lot less before coming because the food here will make you gain 10. No, it won't. Just have to exercise. Spent my entire life skinny as a rail until my hip was injured and couldn't walk anymore. I like that. Storm Chaser. Yeah, Leicester. Yeah, Leicester. Oh, Garrett had a birthday. Happy birthday. Somebody's getting their passport tomorrow. Imagine questions, the action of this chat when the program actually kicks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. When this thing actually gets going, we're going to have to do a different approach here. Going to have to do a very different approach to this, yeah. Thank you, Morris. A U.S. lawyer made about refugee stays. How it's not all that great. I talked to Professor Evans, and he made a response to her. Thank you. Yeah, Fang Wan, are you talking about some idiot that was in New England that was on Newsroom Africa or one of those programs? Yeah, I saw part of that interview. The lawyer is an idiot, doesn't know what she's talking about, and lied about the program. Refugee status for someone whose life is in jeopardy is a golden ticket. It's the golden ticket. So, you know, it's better than immigration. Why have you not been successful in contacting the embassy, Marina Bolton? How are you not successful? Is your email not working? The only way you're going to contact them, or you did send an email but no response. You didn't get an auto response? I would check my spam folder if I were you. Auto responses typically go in spam folders. Just check your spam folder. Yeah, this is my lunch. See, a lot of people realize now I get no lunch. I don't get to eat. I had no breakfast. Although, I'm sorry, today I did have breakfast. But I normally not have breakfast. I had no lunch because I'm giving it my lunch hour to spend with you. And then I'm going back inside without any food. So, you know, people don't appreciate that. Yeah, they said applications in the article, but there were no applications. See, they changed it. Who is going to foot that bill? Take too much time. Are they even liners? You don't need liners. Good Lord. Where are you getting liners from? How do you think refugees get here? Boats? We flew 162,000 Afghans here in 3 weeks. And you want to complain it's impossible? Who's going to foot the bill? We're going to foot the bill. Who else foots the bill? Who's paying for 70% of the scientific research in South Africa? America. Who's paying for antiretrovirals and producing them? America. Dude, it's patches. What are you smoking there? Who's going to foot the bill? Of course, America. We foot everybody's bill. But you're right. It's not a free expense, all expense paid holiday. You're right about that. You are right about that. It's not all expense paid holiday. You expect to get off your ass and work when you get here. Probably only affluent Afrikaners will make use. Actually, I think you're quite the opposite, PJ Bodyworks. I think it's quite the opposite. Why would affluent Afrikaners who have a great life, a luxury, give it up to come to America and just be another person? I think that very few affluent Afrikaners. There are some, but very few. Yeah, change the world one article at a time. No, I mean, look, we've seen this already. We've seen Newsroom Africa change their tone. We've seen the News 24 change their articles after I've corrected them. We've seen Daily Maverick. They haven't changed their articles, just ignore the truth. But yeah, we've also seen the IOL change their articles after I've reported on things. I ought to be getting paid by these guys because I'm their editor. Yeah, the problem he came with letting the bot stay is that people start getting in arguments with them. The USA would obviously have a yearly maximum number of people that will accept refugees. Do you think this number will be increased? Should there be thousands? Well, when you say obviously, that's not obvious. We do have a cap. It's a quota, but it's not hard and fast. So the USA, the president's required to submit a report to Congress every year on the results or the projections for the program. So the results of the previous year, the projection for the next year. Here comes the win again. So in 2023, the cap was 150,000 refugees, 40,000 from Africa, but then there were special categories of other Africans who could come over, but we didn't bring in that many. As I said, we took 162,000 Afghans in 3 weeks. That busted the entire cap for the year. The cap usually somewhere between 30 and 150,000 refugees per year. Most recent years it's been at least 150,000. So do I think it would be expanded for African hunters? Yes. Yes, I think that they would make it larger. I've never played them multiplayer, Fang. Your daughter's 23. She's probably not going to be considered your dependent. So she'll probably have to apply on her own there, Nella. I'm not subject matter expert, but that would be my expectation. Yes, I'm at the War College, Jan. What did you miss? Not a whole lot, Mark. Sue says South Africans, I'm learning, can be an ungrateful bunch of peeps. All right, Milo, as I said earlier in the video I did this morning, the problem is that you're all taking things in dribs and drabs, and that's how the media reporting things. Early on in this, I did mention the consequences of the funding being cut, which would include military. I didn't mention the scientific research because I didn't know that 70% of it was being funded by the U.S. That surprised me. But I have told you that so many activities would be canceled, including FMF and IMET and things like that. People didn't listen, or they weren't familiar with the channel. So that's not a surprise to me. I mean, the media is doling it out little dribbles. A few days ago it was, oh, we lost 70% of the scientific research funding. Yeah, because you lost all the funding. Now they're going, oh, military being kicked out. Well, yeah, there's no money. It has been no money since February 7th, and that's the rest of this year, maybe forever, because of the behavior of the South African government when they whined about the 20 January cut. So that means the students here at the War College has to go home. They're not going to graduate from the War College. That sucks for him and his family. That really sucks. They're victims of diplomatic blunders by the South African government. But they're giving it to in dribs and drabs and make it sound like the U.S. is taking actions. Everything that's happening now is a consequence of one action. One action. The only other action taken is Ibrahim Rasool. Ibrahim Rasool played the role of the fool. Ibrahim Rasool played the role of the fool. And he got the boot like he deserved. That's not what an ambassador is supposed to do. And he knows better. Super chat from Jacques Boykus for 40 Rand. Thank you. You're welcome, Dirk. It must be like 60 something. None of them can apply for refugee status, Peter. They can't. You can't. It's not legal. Unless they make some sort of exception, you have to be in South Africa to apply for it. But I've already covered this. Peter or Paul van Noordvik. Ooh, thank you for the Master Commander level, Paul. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's right. You can't cancel all this. There's a lot of chat here I haven't seen, guys. Sorry. Another super chat will bring you South African barbecue flavor. Lays, thank you. Last me a year. That's kind of you. And then 140 from Fung One. Thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it a lot. Your patience next level. You have been one of the most only voices helping people. All right. Thank you so much, Fung One. I'm so far behind in the chat. Man, you guys are chatting like crazy today. Wow, look at all these chats. I can't even keep up with all these things. There's one. Paul from Nordic 70 ran South African channel are well known for their hard work. We'll listen about anything. Will not be. Well, you say that. We'll see, Paul. We'll see. We'll see. You're using stereotypes about it, people. Stereotypes have a merit to them, and there's a basis for them, but they're not always correct. Bit Builder, thank you for becoming a member. Okay, I'm finally caught up. Well, I don't know that the South... Good God! Okay, enough. Jeez. I don't know that the South African Army is in cahoots with Iran. The ANC is in cahoots with Iran. That's a very different situation. Very different situation. All right, guys. I'm sorry to cut out, but I do have to cut out. I'm sorry for the wind, but I did the best I can. Yeah, it's perfect for flying kites, that's for sure. Apologies for the wind, but it's the best I can do. Maybe I can bring a book or something next time to block the wind. All right. All right. Catch you later, Steve. I've got to roll. So thank you very much. Yeah, that was a big gust. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks to everybody. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it. We got 916 likes. Can we get to 1,000 likes? Can we get to 1,000 likes before I leave? Come on. Come on. You guys, that's 917. I got one more. One more. That's all. 917. All right, well, we're not going to get to 1,000, but thank you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your patience. I'll catch you later. There'll be a late night tonight, and we'll see what else is happening. Okay, cheers, everybody.